Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Curse of Oak Island, it's back to the swamp as new theory suggests Nova Scotia Freemasons knew about treasure. The guys on the Curse of Oak Island have returned to the swamp, determined to uncover its secrets as a new theory suggests Freemasons within Nova Scotia's elite knew of buried treasure on the island. The guys are finally back in the swamp. The permits have cleared, so Billy Gerhardt is back, and last night he started draining the southern corner of the swamp. Billy and the team haven't done much work in the swamp area since the Nova Scotia government severely curtailed their work after they inadvertently uncovered First Nation pottery in Season 9. However, they are now back in business and aiming to uncover more of the mysterious stone roadway. This road is thought to date back at least 500 years, and the guys suspect it was used to transport treasure from docked ships to the Money Pit area. The roadway is a massive piece of engineering wrapped in mystery, as its origin and function appear to have been deliberately hidden. Massive stone feature mapped on Oak Island's Lot 5. Speaking of hidden structures, the archaeologists have now mapped what they believe is the full extent of the rectangular stone structure on Lot 5. This structure has no historical record, and it's far too large to be a simple residence. Archaeologist James Kuba also stated that it appears to have been deliberately hidden. Did Nova Scotian Freemasons know about the Oak Island treasure in the 18th century? In the meantime, 32nd-degree Freemason Scott Clark was back in the war room, and he had some compelling evidence that suggested his Freemason ancestors may have known that treasure, specifically ancient Christian relics, were buried on Oak Island. Scott had found within the Canadian archives an ancient map of Mahone Bay with Oak Island featured dating back to 1762. This map was created by Freemason and Nova Scotia Chief Surveyor Charles Morris, who was responsible for dividing Oak Island into 32 lots. This island was the only one out of multiple islands in Mahone Bay to be divided in this way. Morris's boss was Nova Scotia Lieutenant Governor Jonathan Belcher, a Freemason, and Andrew Belcher's grandson. The senior Belcher worked closely with English privateer William Phipps, who many suspect hid gold recovered from a Spanish galleon on the island. Bearing all of the above in mind and examining the writing on Morris's map, the first A in Mahone Bay uses a V-shaped crossbar, often used to create a Freemason-like symbol that refers to the Holy Grail. This A-like symbol appears in numerous stone works at Templar churches in Portugal and Italy. Scott pointed out that the symbol on the map is pointing directly to Oak Island. The expert also found this a symbol used in 3 other places on the map, which when applied to a compass circle, perfectly intersects the island. The use of this symbol to represent as was not just decorative, as on the map were written normally. Scott suggested that all this meant that in 1762, Freemasons within the Nova Scotia elite were well aware that ancient Christian relics, such as the Holy Grail, were buried on Oak Island. #### The Curse of Oak Island, the Freemasons' secret. The mist hung low over the island, shrouding it in an eerie veil that seemed to grow thicker with each passing minute. The swamp, a notorious site of mystery and speculation, lay still and silent, its dark waters holding secrets that had baffled treasure hunters for centuries. But this time, something was different. A new theory had emerged, one that linked the enigmatic treasure of Oak Island to the shadowy history of the Freemasons in Nova Scotia. Rick and Marty Legima, the intrepid brothers who had dedicated years of their lives to unraveling the island's mysteries, stood at the edge of the swamp. The air was thick with anticipation, a palpable sense of urgency driving their every move. The latest clue had come from an unexpected source. An old journal, its pages brittle and yellowed with age, discovered in the dusty archives of a forgotten library in Halifax. The journal belonged to a man named Robert Sinclair, a prominent Freemason in the late 18th century, whose writings hinted at a secret society's involvement in the Oak Island mystery. "Look at this," Rick said, holding the journal up to the light. His voice was hushed, as if he feared the very words might conjure up the spirits of those long gone. Sinclair mentions a great work being carried out on the island, a project that was known only to the highest-ranking members of the Nova Scotia Freemasons. Marty peered over his brother's shoulder, his brow furrowed in concentration. A great work? Could he be talking about the treasure? Rick nodded slowly. it's possible. The Freemasons were known for their secretive operations, and they were heavily involved in the construction of many important sites across the region. If they were behind the creation of the money pit or the other traps and tunnels on the island, it would explain a lot. The idea that the Freemasons might have played a role in the Oak Island mystery wasn't entirely new. For years, researchers had speculated that the island's intricate network of tunnels and booby traps bore the hallmarks of Masonic engineering. But Sinclair's journal offered the most compelling evidence yet: detailed descriptions of underground chambers, hidden vaults, and coded messages that seemed to point directly to Oak Island. The Lagina brothers were not ones to shy away from a challenge. They had spent years battling the island's treacherous terrain, unraveling clues, and chasing leads that often seemed to lead nowhere. But this time, the stakes felt higher. The possibility that the Freemasons had not only known about the treasure but had actively worked to protect it added a new layer of intrigue to the search. Armed with this new information, the team turned their attention back to the swamp, a site that had yielded tantalizing clues in the past but had never fully given up its secrets. The swamp was a natural anomaly on the island, a place where the land seemed to shift and change with the seasons. Over the years, it had swallowed up countless artifacts, creating a murky graveyard of history. "Why here?" Marty asked, his voice breaking the silence. "Why would they hide something in the swamp?" Rick shrugged. "It's the perfect place to hide something you don't want to be found. The swamp is constantly changing, and it's nearly impossible to navigate without the right tools and knowledge. If the Freemasons were behind this, they would have known how to use the landscape to their advantage." As the team began their work, the air buzzed with the sound of machinery and the clatter of tools. They were searching for something specific this time: a chamber or vault mentioned in Sinclair's journal, a hidden space that had been constructed with precision and care. The swamp's murky waters made progress slow, but the team was undeterred. Each day brought them closer to uncovering the truth. Then, one afternoon, after hours of painstaking digging and probing, the excavator hit something solid. The team froze, their hearts pounding in their chests. They had found something: a stone structure buried deep beneath the muck and mire. The stone was old, worn smooth by the passage of time, but its purpose was unmistakable. It was a man-made structure, carefully crafted and placed with intent. Rick and Marty exchanged a look, their excitement barely contained. "This could be it," Rick whispered. "This could be the entrance to the chamber." The team worked with renewed vigor, clearing away the mud and debris that obscured the entrance. As they did, more of the structure came into view: a set of steps leading down into the darkness. The steps were narrow and steep, disappearing into the earth like the entrance to a forgotten tomb. "Be careful," Marty cautioned as they prepared to descend. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decay, a reminder of the countless years that had passed since anyone had last set foot here.